How about now? Can you hear me now, guys? Is that better? Can you guys hear me now? There we go. I apologize, guys, for that technical difficulties. It was my headset. One of the connections wasn't quite right. Hello,
Yeah, I
Nikki.
came up
Good
to
to
tell
see
you
ya.
that we couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Yeah,
Good to
no,
see you
it
too. I
it
have
was
a quick
definitely at
question.
my end here. Hey,
Have
all
you
right.
heard of Second Sons of Canada?
Um, I think I've heard of it, but to be honest, my mind's not clicking in as to what it actually is.
Well, I was sent a video today of and someone was asking what the patch was on his jacket, and he's like a far right person. And so
Mhm,
I went onto TikTok, went to the video, seen that it was Second Sons of Canada, and then went to
mhm.
research it, and it's a men's nationalist club.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes. Yeah. Now I remember now that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just now learning about it.
It is insane. So essentially it's connected to the Proud Boys down in the United States. That's essentially
Yeah.
the equivalent because the Proud Boys themselves are considered terrorist organization in Canada. So they changed the name and kind of changed the organization up here so they could actually do things. Um, Yeah. No, it's insane, and they're actually kind of starting to mobilize a little more now compared to what they have in the past. Um,
Oh, they're super open about it. Like, Buddy is wearing
yeah.
a jacket with the fucking quote unquote crest logo and everything. Super proud of it.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Sorry, Nikki, just give me a second, guys. So I had an audio issue. What I was trying to say when I got going, guys, is don't forget to like and share that we're here. Share the stream. Get people here. Guys, I have a massive announcement. I am so happy and proud to be able to make an announcement tonight. Big things for the Moose and the news. And guys, it's fantastic. It's going to help the progressive movement, and I'm so happy to be a part of what's coming next for the progressive Moose, and looking forward to a lot moving forward. I can't say any more because I don't want to ruin the announcement. But don't forget to like and share, guys. Let people know we're here, and let's get the conversation going. We got about 10 minutes till game time or show time, so we're here to chat and have fun.
What's the topic tonight?
So I am going to talk a little bit about Doug Ford and him essentially like he's going to be calling an election here in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, I want to kind of try and break things down the best that I can when it comes to not necessarily the tariffs that we might be facing and our kind of retaliation in that sense, but I want to break down the implications of the possible tariff war and how it's going to affect us, the everyday Canadian. That is what I want to talk about tonight, because I think in a lot of ways, media and even politicians are failing to talk about what the issues are going to be for the everyday Canadian with all the tariff threats and if all this stuff takes place. Yeah, absolutely. It will affect both Canada and US. We already absolutely, and that's where you know we've we've sat here and said for the longest time because we've known for a while that Trump is going to be doing the tariffs, and we've been having the conversations about the implications for the American people and how the businesses and corporations are just going to pass down those tariffs, the cost of those tariffs to the consumers in America, right? So we, I've talked about it. A lot of other people that I've talked to and been on lives with and watched have all been talking about what the implications for Americans will be. But I don't see many people actually sitting and breaking down how it's going to affect the Canadian people, not only from the tariffs that we're going to be facing from America, but the compounding of our possible retaliation, depending on what it is.
I'm
Um,
really glad that you're talking about this because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that the politics in the States do affect us here in Canada.
Oh, absolutely. And the biggest thing, guys, the two biggest things that I like to mention and kind of break down the best I can is A, how our economies are so intertwined, especially when it comes to trade, right? It's not just a matter of we sell this product to them or they sell this product to us. It's a matter of how coupled our um, industrial manufacturing is, even tighter than just the trade itself, right? Because we've got a progress or a process, and I'll use automotive for an example where, certain parts of a car or certain stages of a car are done here in Canada, then shipped down in the United States, and they do more to that vehicle, put more of it together, and then either they finish there and then sell it back to us, or then it gets shipped back to us. We finish and then sell back or ship back down to them. Um, so it's not just a matter of trade; it's the inter intertwining of our industrial complex and how intricate it is and how reliant we are on each other to even just finish products for selling to consumers, right? So there's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to that sort of stuff. Guys, don't forget to keep hitting that like button. Tap it, tap it, tap it. I apologize. My voice is way off tonight. I went down to Ottawa for the weekend and caught the Ottawa Senators and Maple Leafs game. Um, Me and my brother and my nephews were screaming our lungs out, so my voice is definitely going. So I apologize for the raspiness and such of it. Um, but yeah, guys, we're here. We've all made it through another week. Miss Lotus, I'm glad to see you here. I do see you. Fantastic to see you here. Guys, can you see me okay? I wanted to try and see what it looked like with the lights off here. If it looks okay, let me know. If it's a little too dark, if I should turn on a light, let me know. Um, but I do love my sign in the back there, so I wanted to see what it looked like with it. Guys, if you didn't notice, I did make a couple additions behind me here. This is actually a t-shirt that was made from by a buddy of mine or some buddies of mine, and it says, "Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be proud boys." And I love it. This came out when there was issues with the Proud Boys in St. Louis like 4 or 5 years ago, and this was the response from progressives. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be Proud Boys. Screw cowboys. You're becoming Proud Boys, and we need to stop that shit. All right. Oh, and I have a punk rock Bella. I forgot that I had that, and I saw it, and it just had to go up, guys. I love it. Rebellious to the max. Hello, everyone that's joining. Guys, I have some great news to share with you tonight. So keep hitting that like button, share the stream. Massive news for you guys tonight. And I am so looking forward to moving forward with what I'm going to be doing. And guys, I'm so excited. Um, Again, I might not sound it because my voice is going, but I'm absolutely excited for what's coming up in the near future, which again, we'll get into. Um, and if you're okay with it, guys, I'm just going to throw a little bit of background music on. It's a little lower beat, but guys, it's a strong song. Okay, so it's called Save Our Children by Katie Devine. So if you haven't heard it, here it is, guys. It's a great song. Go download it, get it on Spotify, check it out. And in the meantime, while we listen to it, we'll keep chatting. And don't forget to hit that like button, guys, and share the stream. Let people know we're here. We're gathering. We've all made it through another week. It's been crazy in terms of life, in terms of politics, guys. And I do have live goals going on. I'm going to start doing this and promoting them, guys. Um, let's get the message out. Let's band together. Let's all do our part and let's make the change that we need to see together. Okay. So I've got two songs. Probably going to start the actual new stuff a bit late because I want to play this song. And then, of course, my favorite song in the world, protest song by Beans on Toast. Guys, if you've been here before, you know the song. So, first, let's listen to Katie Devine and the song Save Our Children, and we'll move on to the Beans on Toast. Guys, thanks for coming out. It's Sunday. We've made it through another week. Things are still crazy in Canada, for Canada, but we're here. We've made it, and we're all banding together, and we're doing our part to try and do the best we can to see and make the change that we need. Not just here in Canada, but around the world, guys. There's wars going on, there's starvation, there's so much going on that it's insane, keeping up with everything that's going on. And there's so much good happening around the world to try and combat all the stuff, the nonsense, the craziness, all of it. So, guys, we're just doing our part the best we can, as little or big as it is. Let's make the change happen. I see everybody and welcome. Thank you for coming, guys. This is this is what we got. TikTok is under threat too, guys. You got to remember that. Maybe not here in Canada, but the impact that we'll feel because of what's going on down in the States with TikTok and all that nonsense is absolutely real. Of course, there's other platforms, guys, I want to mention too. I am on YouTube, so I post videos that you see here on my TikTok, as well as I post the recap, the full live show here on Sundays. I absolutely post the whole thing without editing over on YouTube, guys. So if you miss a show, it's always available over on YouTube afterwards. So don't forget to hop over there, follow me there. I've got the link on my profile here on TikTok. But if you don't click that, again, it's the Progressive Moose. It's the same logo, same attitude, all of it, guys. It's all the same. So go on over and show me some love over there if you can. Be fantastic. And a shout out, guys. I always want to make sure I do a shout out for Art Lightstone. I don't think he's here right now. If you haven't heard of him, guys, he is a great content creator. Go check him out over at Green Neighbor here on TikTok, YouTube, and other major platforms. He is fantastic. Miss Lotus is here. Miss Lotus, lady, thank you for coming. Guys, if you don't follow Miss Lotus yet and you haven't seen her content, go check her out. Okay, go follow her. Go show her some love. Fantastic stuff, and I can't get enough of it. You do a fantastic job. Thank you so much for what you do. Sorry, guys. All right, we're at 8 o'clock, guys, but I'm going to start a couple minutes late here because, guys, if you've been here, you know there's one song I can't start the show without playing. When fundamental things in society are wrong, it's a really good time for a protest song. The world as we know it is breaking at the seams. We're united and taking wisdom. Leaders are bought and freedoms are sold. Listen to the girl with the microphone. Change is gonna come. It won't long. It's a really good time for a protest song. Revolution is a really big word. Even test before help me sell some albums because I gotta make money. If I want to make money, that's the only thing that will ever make me happy. I was in me when I was a child. Money makes the world go round. Here today to stop the world turning and introduce a new way of thinking with people over profit, love over greed. Raise your hands and shake 'em with me. Enough of us joining to join the fight. We can change the world tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Art Lightstone, you made it, buddy. Did somebody tell you again, Art Lightstone over at Green Neighbor here on TikTok, YouTube, major platforms. Guys, go show him some love. He is fantastic. Art, I'm glad you're here because I kind of want your input if you can on the conversation tonight. I think you would be a great voice, especially with your background and knowledge that you have. So if you're up for it, by all means, send a request to come up, dude. I would love to have you up. Miss Lotus as well. If you would join me, I would love to have you up with me tonight. I know it's impromptu or whatever, but it'd be fantastic if you guys could come up tonight. I would really value your opinions, of course, guys. And during the show, if you have something that you have to add in terms of information or opinion, by all means, send a request to come up, and I will absolutely have you join the conversation. All right, protest song, guys. That song always pumps me up and gets me ready for doing the stuff that I do. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am the Progressive Moose. You've made it here tonight. I love you guys for coming. It's Sunday. We've made it through. Joe, I see you. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining tonight, Joe. Stick around. It's going to be a great show, and I've got some great news to share. So, guys, we have Miss Lotus up here tonight. Thank you so much for coming up.
Hey, Progressive Moose, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
How
I'm
are you
doing good.
tonight?
How you doing?
I'm okay. I had a little bit of a moment
I'm good.
earlier
My voice is a
today.
little raspy. I was,
Oh, you can be
oh, I think
freezing.
someone's lagged. Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
Oh
I
no,
don't know if it's me,
guys, am
if
I
it's my
lagging? What's
connection or
going
your
on here? Help
connection.
us out.
Yeah. Hey, in the chat, what's going on? Is there a lag?
It's
Hmm?
Moose. Of course, it's me.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Oh
Moose. Okay.
no.
All right.
Better now. Okay, there we go. My leg's better. Hopefully,
Okay. So did you catch Pierre's letter? Did you catch that today?
I did not yet. No, I was on the road. I went down to Ottawa for the hockey game, so I just got back like hours ago.
Right. Okay. All right.
What?
You should go have a look
Keep
at it. It's
okay.
he wrote
Keep
a
keep it
letter
in
to
mind.
Mark Carney. Yeah. Yeah. He wrote a letter to Mark Carney
I'm
this
lagging
morning.
again. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was quite something. You should go have a look at it.
Absolutely. Keep it in mind. And we'll
Yeah.
we'll get into it a bit later if you're down for talking about it.
Sure. Oh, there's Art. Art, come on up
Awesome.
here. Come on up, Art.
Art, get up here, buddy. Get up here. Do I have to send you a request? Are you able to actually request, or do I have to send it to you? Because I'll send it to you, buddy. I want you up here.
So what are we talking about tonight, Progressive?
Guys, we're at 23 people. I know we're kind of janky getting started. So it's going to be a breakdown on the implications for the everyday Canadian when it comes to the tariffs from
Okay.
Donald Trump and what
Yep.
the implications would be in our retaliation as well for the everyday Canadian.
Right. Okay. I gotcha. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Art, how you doing,
Okay.
buddy?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me?
Yes, crystal clear.
Yeah,
Hey,
we can
Art.
hear you, man.
Nice. How are y'all doing?
Good. And you guys, it's Sherry. I just go by Ms.
Fantastic.
Lotus Lady. Sherry. Sherry's my name. But
I wasn't sure whether
Okay.
you were
Okay.
wanting to share that with the public at
oh yeah,
large, but there you go,
yeah.
Sherry.
Well, my other
There you
account is
go.
BC Sherry. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Art,
yeah.
so I just want to do a quick opening stuff here. We're kind of chatting, but I should probably get it kind of going. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so just give me a second, guys, and we'll get into all the nitty gritty in a minute here. Guys,
Sure.
I teased that there was an announcement tonight to people, and we're here, so the announcement is here. Guys, I
Hmm.
am very happy and proud and excited to be able to say to you that I will be joining Beaver Politics and will be doing the Wednesday show. So
Fantastic.
Nice.
it is
Thanks,
going to be great,
Shirley.
guys. I'm so happy to be a part of the team, and I think they do fantastic work. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just so pumped for doing it, guys. And I'm trying
Oh,
to
that's
get. I
awesome.
do have something that I wanted to share. Here we go. We're getting it going. Uh, Sorry, just 2 seconds, guys. Technical
Mm-hmm.
difficulties again. So that being said, I do want to do this quick. Is it coming up properly there yet? Not yet.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I saw it. Oh, there it is.
Go now. I got it. And just quickly play this while we're in my beaver pond. Water still, feeling mighty good, like a beaver should. There we go, guys. I had to do that quick. Um, yeah, so that's the news that I had, guys. So Beaver Politics, I will be joining on Wednesdays. It is 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. And guys, it's not
Okay.
only me. They go Monday through Friday, and me taking over Wednesdays. It's going to be Monday through Saturday because Radical will move to the Saturday slot, and we'll
Okay.
have a 6 day lineup over at Beaver Politics, guys. So go
Wow.
check it out.
That's amazing.
Fantastic work.
That is
Yeah,
fantastic.
I learn
Congratulations.
so much every time I tune in.
Yeah.
I'm so
there
excited
you go.
for you.
Hey, Smarty.
Hi, Smarshy. Thank you. Yeah, so guys, if you don't know Beaver Politics, like I said, it's a conglomerate of creators and people with knowledge trying to make the best change that we can, give people the information, and make sure that the proper information is out there. So
Mm-hmm.
again, Monday through Saturday now,
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. Guys, go check it out. Beaver Politics. Go like and follow, and I'll see you there on Wednesday night. So
That's
that
awesome.
being said, guys, let's get into the tariff stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And I admit I've been busy all weekend, so I might not be up on the whole nitty gritty of every single aspect at this point. So what we're looking at is, of course, Donald Trump talking about tariffs towards Canada, and Mexico, of
Mm-hmm.
course, but we're going to focus more on the Canadian aspect of things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so upwards to possibly 25% tariffs on
Mm-hmm.
trade with Canada from the United States,
Yeah.
possibly starting the beginning of February.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
the Canadian, and again, out of the loop, but hasn't made too many announcements. The federal government and the provincial government have been trying to work together across the country, and strategize with each other and
Yeah.
credit where credit's due. A lot of the conservative parties in the provinces are actually banding together, guys. There's one outlier. Can you guess who it is?
Ooh.
Fucking Alberta.
No.
Yes.
Okay, pardon my language.
Scott. Sorry,
Two now.
Scott.
Who's the
Mo just
second?
flipped. Scott. Mo.
Mo.
Mo just flipped.
Yeah,
Okay, so
so
Mo. So we
fucking the
got two
Smith.
outliers now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is update though. I want to just give you guys a heads up here. There is a petition that we're trying to get all Albertans to sign. And
Yes.
within 2 days, it was at 1,900 Albertans had signed this to get Danielle Smith to resign because she is doing nothing but selling us out to Trump.
Yeah.
Please, 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 I
Yeah.
will send you guys the link if I can find it again.
Mm-hmm.
Go to change.org. I think it's change.org. I'm not 100% sure.
The
But I will get you
creator.
guys.
Sorry, Smarshy. I don't mean to cut you off. The creator who started the petition. Her name is Jana. Janna. Janna. and you can find her on TikTok.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
she's like one of my mutuals. So if you want to just, yeah, she is a disgrace to this country, and she should be taken up against and thrown in the fucking Hague, if you ask me, because she's doing shit
Mm-hmm.
that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no,
Yeah.
she's trying to sell Alberta to Trump and try to make deals with Trump behind the prime minister's back. And yeah, no, it's just not gonna fucking happen. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore.
Yep. No, absolutely. And that's
She's trying to make backyard deals with Jordan O'Leary, I think his name is, or
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin
I
O'Leary.
don't
Yeah.
Kevin, Jared. I don't really give a shit. They're all fucking crooked anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but they're trying to do a deal for an
Mm-hmm.
AI farm in Alberta without
Yeah.
consulting the indigenous people first. So good luck on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted you up here because you've got a lot of the economic backgrounds and the finance backgrounds and the knowledge on that stuff. Absolutely. So when we talk about retaliation, guys, there's been speculation and different people, on the federal level have said different things as to what they would want to do or see in terms
Mm-hmm.
of retaliation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some saying that it do dollar for dollar. So if he's going to hit us with 25%, then hit them with 25%, and do things that way. I'm wondering, you'd probably be able to explain better to me in terms of the implications of not only tariffs from the United States, but if we were to do retaliation in terms of tariffs, what would the Canadian consumers be in for?
Well, retaliatory tariffs won't impact our consumers. It will impact our workers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, and it's actually a
Yeah, I should have. So
it's
I
a
should have
it's a
said.
yeah
Sorry, I should have said like everyday Canadians, not the consumers,
yeah
but
yeah
to
yeah
everyday Canadians.
yeah for sure. So the impacts could be quite significant in terms of our labor market.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't happen overnight, but it wouldn't take decades either. It could be I would say you'd see an impact within 2 months and to see the full effects, 2 months to 2 years within that time frame. It could have a very profound impact, especially in Ontario,
Hmm.
which is a major exporter to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, I haven't looked deeply into it, so
Hmm.
mostly I'm talking theory right now. But I have heard some assessments of hundreds of thousands of jobs
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
Yeah,
That's
and
probably
that
worst case scenario, but
yeah, and that was actually my main point, was going to be the job situation in terms of that. And I hinted before, when somebody asked what tonight was going to be, that again, the automotive industry is what I use for an example, because automotive is so intricate. It's not just a matter of trade, it's a matter of the manufacturing process itself, where Canada does certain aspects or starts the process of making a car, sends it down the United States, they add their parts, and either it's done and gets sold here, or the vast majority of automotives get done, like finished in Canada, so it gets shipped back up again,
Yeah.
finished, and then we sell or ship back down the United States. Um, Actually, my girlfriend had brought up the beef sector, because beef is another one where a lot of people don't realize we raise the beef,
Mm-hmm.
and in some cases slaughter and then ship down. They
Yeah.
do what they need to do down the United States, and they sell back to us at a higher cost. And but same can be said for so many different industries across the board. Um, So if companies like Ford, say in manufacturing, have to pay these tariffs and whatnot in the United States, they're going to pass them down to consumer. But a loophole would be to close or make smaller their manufacturing in Canada, and we're
Mm-hmm.
going to lose jobs because of that because they'll want to make more in the United States to get rid of just the tariffs in general and that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So
And that's
that's
the
Well,
idea.
mm,
That's the long term goal of
yeah.
tariff.
yep,
I mean, apart from whatever Trump may or may not think, it's always hard to
Yeah.
know. Does he really believe what he says? But
Yeah.
he seems to think that the exporting countries pay the tariffs, and therefore the importing country just rakes in all this cash. But that's
Okay,
not
So,
remotely true.
I have a
yeah.
So,
question.
you
So
know, yeah,
I
go
have
ahead.
a, sorry, I have
Um,
a, sorry,
oh,
go ahead, Smushy. Okay, so in BC, David Eby's announced that nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table. They're talking about charging trucks to drive through BC up to Alaska. They're talking about closing all competition, all bids to US companies and have them just strictly Canadian companies. They're also talking about shutting the
Did
power
I
off
lose you? Oh, there
to
you go.
shutting the power off to Washington and Oregon and California. But I did it. I don't know if you caught it. I did it. I did some digging this week, and I found out that we own 329.7 billion dollars of U.S. debt instruments. Japan owns
really?
$1.1 trillion dollars of US debt instruments.
really,
Yeah, there's five. If you go to the US government website, it'll tell you the five countries that own the most US debt, and we are one of them. And so,
wow,
and he keeps talking about how the tariffs are going to make them rich. He's got no way to
Hmm.
pay for, oh,
Go on.
sorry, he's got no way to pay for his tax cuts, his deep tax cuts he wants to give, because there's no room in their economy right now. He also wants to be the star of the AI tech revolution that's happening because China just surpassed Silicon Valley with AI. They came out with something this week called DeepSeek, and it is a company, DeepSeek, came out with a new AI, and it is significantly cheaper and easier on the resources than what Silicon Valley has come up with. And
okay,
they've got so much debt in the US.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah. Overall
wondering,
debt in the U.S. is massive in comparison to the rest of the
They
world.
they have yeah they have 34.26% of the world's highest debt rate to the national to the global debt, and like Miss Lotus had, like Sherry had just said, they owe Canada 320.7 billion dollars.
so my question to Art
Hmm.
is uh, how would that, like, if we cashed our bonds, if we sold our debt instruments with the US, would that hurt them?
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
that be an act of war?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm saying that pretty strategically for a guy who doesn't, politics is not my thing. But
Yeah,
no, I mean, um, these are market oriented investment vehicles.
right.
These are market, traded value, valued and traded instruments. They're traded every day. It wasn't an act of war when we bought them, and it wouldn't be an act of war if we sold them.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, these days people go around. That's how they leverage, their military might. Is they just say, well, if you know what, if you did that, I
Mm-hmm.
would consider it an act of war. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's not like under any convention.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an act of war, to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But how
Smarshy, I
much?
see you got your hand
Oh,
up
sorry.
there. If you want
Go
to
ahead.
quickly jump in.
So I was talking with someone the other day, and they said that Canada's gonna try and um, or Canada's suing Trump for trying to close the borders on our side because of the F issue that's going on up here, apparently.
Okay, so what I actually just talked about this today on my drive back home. What's happening? So, guys, if you're paying attention to the American politics, um, I'm having a bit of a brain fart, but essentially, one of the executive orders that Donald Trump signed is that there's two genders. So what's
Mm-hmm.
happening with at the borders is that if you do not fall under those two genders, you are not being allowed into the country. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's discrimination against anyone besides a cis male and cis female,
Oh, okay.
right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, by definition, a form of bigotry and
Mm-hmm.
just complete blatant
Isn't that
discrimination.
illegal?
Yes, on the basis of international law, it is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely illegal. Um, so yeah, anyone that is and unfortunately because of it, anyone that is not American and is currently in the US
Mm-hmm.
would be considered an illegal under
Mm-hmm.
this executive order,
Mm-hmm.
right? So on top of what we're already seeing in terms of border protections. Like Trump has essentially unleashed the military on the southern border, and the threat of mass deportation, of course. That's an added layer, right? So it spans wider than the initial implication of the border process and their how they
And
handle things.
Well, I think they're going to find that they're going to have some legal actions within the country too, because Marco Rubio, within a half an hour of taking office, announced that they were not going to renew any more transgender passports, period.
Yeah,
So not only do they don't want them to exist, they don't want them to give them the ability to leave the country,
and that's
trapping
exactly
them in the
and the
country.
wider implication with that,
Yeah,
absolutely, guys.
yeah,
It's not just a matter of one faucet or one facility of it. It's a multiple front
yeah,
issue that needs to be battled on the multiple fronts.
yeah.
can we
Uh,
talk about for a minute the fact that he wants to deport the Native Americans in America? Where the fuck does he think he's gonna put them?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's also that aspect of it as
yeah.
well.
He's going by the 1884 census or something. I was reading it on APN News. It's the only other news I really trust. And because in 1924 the Native Americans became citizens under American law, that's when they became citizens. So therefore, he's going back to the 1884 census law that he is.
yeah,
Jimmy.
yeah. I see Jimmy there,
He's
guys. You guys see Jimmy. Jimmy, like you can stick around if you want. Um, Muted Jimmy. There
Jimmy's
you go.
muted. I've
Perfect.
muted Jimmy for
There
the
you
fucking
go.
life. I don't have
Um,
time for this bullshit.
Jimmy's a
I,
troll like a crazy.
I,
Yeah.
I was on this live and I asked this person. He said, "You're okay with voting this man in and blah blah blah, but you don't understand that Indigenous people were here way before you guys were. Where are we supposed to go?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't know if they're not legal citizens." I'm like, "But you don't get it. We were here before you guys. Where are we supposed to go?"
Yeah.
And now Pierre wants to do the same goddamn thing
Mm.
up here with
Yeah.
birthright citizenship. I wasn't a Canadian citizen until 1985. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? Where is Absorb supposed to go? Where is Butter supposed to go? Where are all the Indigenous people in Canada and America supposed to be going? Across
Mm-hmm.
the street, up the hill,
Yeah.
in a mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Why are these people not fucking thinking about the repercussions? And if I'm gonna be fucking frankly honest on this, the Mexican people that they're taking back to Mexico have more right to be there than the American citizens actually have right to be there. But again, I'm just a Canadian who knows nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so guys, just kind of coming back in a bit of a 180 here.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely all of this has been relevant. Don't say,
Mm-hmm.
don't think like I'm dismissing topics here. But coming back kind of 180. So when it comes to like we're already going to see effect on the Canadian economy in different ways, like we said
Yeah.
earlier, when it comes to the tariffs that Trump um, potentially is going to put on Canada come
Mm-hmm.
February.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that I have, I think it's hard to balance in my mind right now, is because I do believe that Canada needs to fight for itself, so to speak, in this. So we do need to take action towards the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think um, tariffs back towards the United States is an option, but I'm weary of it only because, like, it could cause the U.S. to create, like, go higher with theirs, so on and so forth. But all the different things we're already facing across Canada, right? So we're already facing the housing crisis that we are. We're already facing the unhoused crisis that we are. We're already facing the food insecure crisis that we are. We're already facing, list goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're facing all this stuff with the implications of thousands of jobs being lost,
Mm-hmm.
like thousands upon thousands because of this stuff. And like guys, like if we do something in return, yes, absolutely. Like it might not show right away, or it might not have the effects um, that a lot of people might think, or they might be bigger than people think. But the fact is if we're going to get into a tariff war, if we're going to get into a trade war of
Mm-hmm.
any sort with the United States, because of how intricate, again, our economies and our manufacturing is on so many
Mm-hmm.
different levels, it
Mm-hmm.
is going to make things, it's going to exacerbate things to the max, right?
So, so I don't mean to interrupt you, but remember,
Yep.
we've been here before. We were
No,
here
and
the
we have.
last, we were here 4 years ago, right?
Well, and
When
that's
they,
where, but I don't think it's to the same degree. And again, he hasn't actually put them in place. So, no, we're speculating as to if they actually go into place as per
mm-hmm.
what he says, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where, like, yeah, Trump last time it said, oh, well, I'm just going to rip up NAFTA
Mm-hmm.
and, we'll figure out something else.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really like the tariffs, because the tariffs from the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put tariffs, or he put tariffs on Canadian aluminum, and then we, in retaliation, I can't remember the list, but there was a couple things that we kind of put tariffs on um, going to the United States. Those are still in place. The Biden administration never did anything about that. So
Oh,
that
really? Well, I know
aspect
we,
is still there.
yeah, I know we have the softwood lumber tariffs still.
Well,
We've
the
always had
agreement,
those,
yeah.
right?
And that's something that gets negotiated. Like this is that negotiation has been going on, I think, like 8 years now. And the last
Mm-hmm.
time it not got negotiated, it went on
Mm-hmm.
for like 25 years before it was actually ratified, because it's
Mm-hmm.
constantly um what's that word? It challenged in court from
Yeah.
side to side, right? So
So what they did last time, and they're doing it again this time, is that they're going into state by state and they're identifying the thing that we get the most from them from that particular state. So they're
yep,
already said they're going to tariff Florida orange juice. Like they're going to tariff any Florida orange juice coming into the country. They've
yep,
already said they're going to tariff the steel. And there was one other thing that they said they were going to tariff, and it's going to be strategic and like with a precision knife, right? To go in and find out what's going to hurt the GDP the most in each state, and then
yep,
they're going to work. What they did last time was they worked town to town to town, level of government to level of government. So call all your friends. Like we have a really
yep,
good relationship here in BC with Washington State. So
Yeah.
David, I know Mr. Eby has been talking to Mr. What is his name? The
Inslee?
governor Inslee, Governor Inslee down in Washington State, and I know that he's been talking to Governor Newsom down in California, and I know that that our finance minister here in BC has been down to Hollywood to talk to California about the movie industry. So I think that we're going to. I think it's a bigger approach than just the premiers at the top and the prime minister at the top, and I think that we don't see all the moving parts right now because also I remember seeing one of them say, "Well, we don't give all out all the information," because they were pressing them on, "Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to tariff? What are you going to tariff?" And I can't remember who it was that said, "Well, in a hostile." In a conflict like this, you keep your cards close to the chest. You don't want to tip off your opponent, and
Yep,
you don't want to take anything off the table. So
yep,
the only two premiers that have flipped, like we said, was Scott Moe, which I was surprised he was even on board to begin with, and Danielle Smith. Right? I've
Who's a
noticed that
fucking traitor?
I noticed that Scott Moe has been very quiet since he almost lost his seat,
yep.
since he almost
Um,
lost power in Saskatchewan.
yeah, so just quickly, and then Smarsh, when I'm done, you can go. And after Smarsh, Art, I would love to hear what you got to say at this point because you've been pretty quiet. But I just want to add to that. Absolutely, guys. Like I've seen the news and I've seen the breakdowns where there are provinces and states that do direct trade with each other that are saying, like we don't want this, and they're saying they're still going to work together. They don't want issues. And there's been governors of states say publicly, like we don't agree with what Trump's doing. We are pushing back. Like we don't want this. It's going to hurt our trade and everything. So there absolutely, all the different levels of government work with each other in that sense. So that's a ray of light in terms of trade and the tariffs because there is pushback from both Canadian side and American side when you get down to the lower levels of government wanting to still work together. So Smarsh, but go ahead.
Uh, Okay, with everything, I'm just gonna say this quickly because I gotta go back to bed because I really am not doing so good.
Okay.
The thing is, yes, I understand tariffs and I understand that they're good and they're bad, and I
Mhm.
honestly hope to God Doug Ford sticks to his gun about shutting off the power. At this point, I don't care. They voted for what they voted for. They get what they get, kind of thing, right? But here's the thing. Um, oh God, I had it in my brain and then I just like looked around and oh yeah, it was what Joe was saying in the comments. Claudia Sheinbaum, the Mexican president, love her. She's got my full support. She is actually denying that the deportations from America come into Mexico. Honduras and Colombia have also said no. Trump is losing his fucking shit. Like his mind is just fucking blown. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna follow this totalitarianism, fascist, white supremacist regime, you can get the fuck out of our country as well and go somewhere else because we don't want you. And we talked to this person the other day on Nerdy's Polititalk, and she's like, "Well, I'm in Canada. I'm waiting for my permanent citizen or permanent residency." She wants to vote for Polyev. I'm like, so you voted for a man single-handedly destroying your own country, coming to our country to vote for another fascist regime to fuck up our country. Where are you going to go after that? And she went down, and it was absolutely beautiful that she just like looked at she basically told Artie, she's like, I didn't come up here to do this X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, I wasn't born in this country to be told I'm gonna be forced to leave my country. So you tell me what you want to do. But thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day, and I love all of you. I'm not mentally prepared to be here. I thought I
No,
could do it,
that's
and I just can't.
Smarshy, that's okay. I really appreciate you coming up and I appreciate having your voice and your just message uh, with us. So thank you for coming up
Thanks for
for as
joining,
long as you did.
Smarshy.
Art, you've been
Yeah.
pretty quiet. What do you got going on over there?
Oh, well, I've just learned that when I sometimes I go, yeah, good point or something, but then it confuses people. So I just try to stay quiet and I speak if I'm spoken to. But yeah, uh, I, this potential trade war, it's not going to be good for anybody. I don't see any winners coming out of such a thing. Um, and the whole crux of it is, is it really based on the misunderstanding of one really we kind of I, I don't know how to describe Donald Trump. Is he as daft as he seems, or is he just playing games? Is this?
Here, so when I refer to Trump, it's old and senile.
Yeah.
Mm.
I really don't understand. But what I always think about is, but he's surrounded by advisors. So somebody would say something, somebody would say, well, actually, President Trump, that's not how tariffs work, see. But he's still, everybody pretends. It's as if they pretend that, yeah, the exporting countries pay the tariffs. So, um, but even when kind of level-headed people calculate the potential money that they could raise from tariffs, what they do is they look at the money that the value of exports that were exported over the last 12 months from one country to another, and then they say, well, if we imposed a 25% tariff, well, 25% of that money would equal that. We could raise a lot of money from it. Now we raise it from ourselves, not from the other country, from ourselves. But of course, that wouldn't happen. If something goes up in price by 25%, you're not going to buy as much of it as you used to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the jobs start to get in. So it impacts both. If we impose tariffs on them, then the goods that we import will be more expensive for consumers. And when prices go up, interest rates go up. They have to. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then if interest rates go up, the economy goes down, GDP goes down, productivity goes
Mm-hmm.
down. It just cools the economy because it cools borrowing, it cools investment. That increased inflation cools consumer spending, which is the biggest part of GDP. It's the biggest component of it. So it's just not good for anybody. So yeah, both economies could be hurt quite dramatically, and even before the election, I think you had folks like Elon Musk admitting, like, yeah, these tariffs would hurt the U.S. economy, but they have some sort of vision that you have to wreck it before you build it back up. And I can see maybe a grain of logic if the goal is to try to stimulate manufacturing, to get manufacturing to come back, onshoring, if you will, come back to domestic production. That takes years.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is it ignores that there's a fundamental benefit to trade. But before I go down that road, I mean, I do want to say I do think that the U.S. and Canada, I would say even more so Canada. I don't know. I say more so Canada because I'm Canadian. We do need more manufacturing jobs. We
Sure.
strengthen our manufacturing sector, and we have we have come to be too reliant on imports. I bought a TV today. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm sorry. I tend to buy things from Amazon, and I'm going to rethink that policy now. But like under $200, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's some amazing smart TV.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe how, like, the quality of it and how well it works. And I'm thinking, what? This is like almost disposable, like the price.
Yeah, and that's
So,
oh, go ahead.
oh no, I just had a question for Art. I have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
question for Art. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think it'll do to the investments in Canada if Carney's at the helm?
If Mark Carney was at the helm, it would
Mm-hmm.
surely um, be a boon to the economy, I think, on all fronts, but in particular, investments in Canada.
Yeah.
He has a great international reputation.
Yeah.
It, everybody except Pierre Poilievre. Um, and I think, in truth, Pierre Poilievre also admires Mark Carney, and that's why he wants to do his darndest to make sure he does not run
Right.
uh, well, he is obviously, but does not obtain the leadership and then run, be the leader of the Liberal Party in an election.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre Poilievre would be good and worried about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just
Absolutely.
thinking because he would be like a stabling influence for the country, right? And with his central bank experience, that would be attractive to foreign investors.
Oh yeah, and an amazing track record,
Mm-hmm.
2 countries,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just
Absolutely.
yeah, he shows well,
Yeah.
presents well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to argue against Mark Carney, other than to say, oh, he's a rich elite or something like that.
Well, and that's and in all honesty, that's kind of how I looked like when I first heard his name. It was like, oh, great, another fucking rich guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started to get more into what his policy and the stuff that he kind of rallies for, I mean, the guy's for UBI, first and foremost, which is a massive feather in his hat for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then you dig into the rest of it, and you're just like, okay, you know what? Like, as much as I have my predetermined kind of mindset towards the rich, there are the outliers that are definitely the exception. And it seems to me that he is one of those exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, it's interesting to me, and I really hope, and my prediction at this point is that he is going to get the leadership.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I find Krista Freeland having her name tied to Justin Trudeau definitely is a negative for her, especially with a lot of the stuff that she's talked about now, saying, like certain things were reckless, certain things when it comes to spending and everything. It's like, okay, well, you were a part of that, right? So you're kind
Mm-hmm.
of
She
shooting yourself in the foot there, for lack of better words.
I saw her in an
Um,
interview that she threw the PMO's office under the bus, saying that the PMO has already decided who the Liberal leader should be. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little shameless here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Keep hitting that like
Yeah.
button and share the stream, everyone. Get those numbers up. And, guys, I do have a live goal. You see that little gold heart right at the top there, guys? I'm looking for 10 of those on this stream. So if you haven't clicked that heart yet, become a part of my team. Let's do this together. And again, if you weren't here at the beginning, guys, I am now going to be becoming a part of Beaver Politics on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. And I didn't say it earlier because I completely forgot, but the name of my show is going to be The Mossy Side with the Moose. Instead of saying messy side, it's the mossy side. And we're going to be
Oh.
doing deep dives into the issues and diving into the greater implications of whether it's policy, whether it's politics,
Mm-hmm.
the whole enchilada, guys. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to do that. And again, guys, I'm looking for that goal there. I'm up to 3 out of 10 now. That little guy right there, that gold button, click that, become a part of the team, and let's grow together. That's my goal. I need 10 guys. Let's get, what are we at? We're at 3, so I need 7 more. Let's hit that goal.
Are you still
Uh,
there, Art? Looks like he's
Art?
paused.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
giving me trouble.
There he is.
there
Yeah.
he is.
I don't know if yeah, so I guess maybe I disappeared when I was trying to buy one of those hearts,
Oh,
and
okay.
and when you go to do it, when you go to make the purchase, you get knocked over to the Apple store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I'm
Oh,
on an
what?
iPhone, and
Oh, okay.
and then it wouldn't put it through. Like normally, I just double click and it looks at my face, and my
Mm-hmm.
face is my password or whatever, and but then it
Mhm.
wouldn't do it. I'm going to keep trying. So if I disappear again, it's just because I'm trying to buy one of those hearts.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for being so shameless about it, guys, but
Oh
just got to
no,
do that plug.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
So,
with that, I do want to kind of move on to Doug Ford right now and
oh,
his
okay. Yeah.
shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Because guys, so we know at this point there's going to be an early election in
Mm-hmm.
Ontario on the provincial level. As
Yeah.
much as Doug Ford has said, like, it's a mandate on this whole tariff situation, I want to say Doug Ford's mandate
Is Doug
already
Ford.
exists, right? Like he's already the premier at
Yeah.
this point, and his mandate that he got elected on
Yeah.
is still in place for another, supposed to be in place for another 2 fucking years. Okay.
Doug
So
Ford's mandate is Doug Ford.
yeah, well, and this is exactly. There's and in all honesty, guys, I've heard a lot of breakdown on this already, and the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing that sticks out to me is the fact that he's trying to get this done before the federal election, because as it
Mm-hmm.
stands right now in the polls, and I know, guys, take polls with a grain of salt. I'm not going to sit here and bolster polls because we know how they are. But
Mm-hmm.
the fact of the matter is, the polls are slipping on the federal level for the Conservative Party.
Mm-hmm.
They're slipping pretty hard right now. So
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to do this before it gets too bad, because he knows that the vast majority of Canadians don't look at politics the right way anymore. They don't
Mm-hmm.
separate the provincial level and the federal
Mm-hmm.
level. They think conservative is conservative, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing, and he's playing on that aspect, right? Because as much as I can sit here, and if you've heard me talk about politics before, like I talk about politics the way that it should be done and the way we should look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's not what politics is today, right? It's all camp, my line versus your line, and you can't fucking agree with anything on the other side, and yada yada yada, right? And
The
it's
way
hard.
I
It's hard for me to remember that.
the way I see it is he's pulling a Tim Houston in Nova Scotia there. He's pulling a Tim Houston. He sees that this is opportunistic for him because he's front and center in a favorable light in Canada. Because he's the face of Team Canada and he's the face of the tariffs. And Mr. Trump, I can't believe you did this to me. This is his opportunity to walk into another majority because the other parties aren't ready, like happened in Nova Scotia with Tim Houston, which is why I think Sean Fraser went home to Nova Scotia to lead up the Liberal Party in Nova Scotia. But I digress. Um, right now, even though you've got your NDP party and your Liberal Party has, like, Murray Stiles has been out in the news quite a bit, and they've been trying to go after him, and he's under investigation for by the RCMP and all of that stuff. You'll be shocked how quickly all of that vanishes because he now has political purchase as the face of Team Canada. And he's trying to get himself another majority for 4 more years before it all falls apart. That's my opinion. Now I'll let the Ontarians talk about it.
Art, if you're there, I'd love to hear what you kind of have to say on Doug Ford and what he's doing.
Sorry, we're Moose. I didn't quite hear the first part of your statement. Were you talking to me?
Yeah, I was just wondering what your point of view is on what Doug Ford's doing right now.
Yeah, I would agree that he's being opportunistic here. I think he's assessed that the vast majority, well, maybe I shouldn't say vast, but the majority of Ontarians don't like Donald Trump. We're mad about potential tariffs, and he's presenting himself as the strong man, and so yeah, he's in the limelight right now. He's being seen as someone who's standing up to Trump, and he thinks this would be a good time to have an election. So, and I agree that things things could get worse for him if we went into a federal election and the Conservatives didn't do as well as they're hoping. Then that could pan out pretty poorly for Doug Ford. Right in line, I think, Moose, with what you're saying. People don't differentiate anymore between provincial and federal levels of government. It seems to me that very few people have, a basic understanding of jurisdiction and division of powers and so on. So you know how Trudeau is just constantly lambasted for problems in provinces that are provincial jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So people don't distinguish. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I agree that he's just being opportunistic. He thinks he's being perceived in a favorable light right now, and that's probably true. And
Mm-hmm.
he's thinking, yeah, this would be a good time.
Mm-hmm. John Horgan did something similar in COVID. Now,
Mhm.
to be fair, John Horgan was killing it with his COVID response in BC here, but he did the same thing in the fall of 2020. Was it 2020 or 2021?
I think it was
He
2020. Yeah,
I think it was 2020. Yeah. So long ago. It feels like a lifetime ago.
yeah.
He had been killing it on the COVID response, and he had Dr. Bonnie Henry as his weapon in his back pocket. And he was riding really, really high in the polls. That's when the unrest was just starting, and he called the election early because they had a Green Party leadership, and so the agreement between him and Dr. Andrew Weaver had dissolved, and we got Sonia Furstenau in as the leader of the BC Greens, and Horgan and Furstenau did not get along very well, and she challenged him on a couple of pieces of legislation, and so he called an election, and he went and got his majority, but he rode that political. He took the opportunity and exercised his political purchase into that majority. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute there. Yeah, no, absolutely. And guys, like I talked about this during my trip with my brother, and it's one of those things where Doug Ford doing this, all it is to me is a waste of taxpayers' money. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
look at it, right? Because the taxpayer
Mm-hmm.
pays for this shit. And I mean, I called Justin Trudeau out for it when he did it on the federal level, where it was just a complete waste of fucking money, in my opinion, right? And that's where I'm unbiased because if you're in a lot of cases, I'm not saying everyone, I'm not saying all liberals or all conservatives, but in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cases, if your camp is doing it, you're for it. But if the other camp is doing it, how the
Yeah.
fuck dare they?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? So that's one thing where I'm like, no, regardless of who does it or why, it's a waste of our taxpayer money and it
Mm.
just shouldn't fucking happen.
No.
Um,
No.
so guys, I do need to kind of wrap things up in the next 5 minutes. So what I want to do before we go is both Lotus and Art. I would love to just hear where can people find you, what's your content, what's your goal, that sort of stuff. So let's start with Lotus and then Art.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Um, okay. So I am in Vancouver, British Columbia. I go by Ms. Lotus Lady, BC Sherry. My name is Sherry. I'm in my mid to late 50s. Work in the construction industry. I own a company. Um, and my content is mostly political, Canadian and American politics, provincial and federal. I also am part of a podcast called Maple Minds, and we have a live podcast on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock with another two creators on here, Christy and Polly Chick. You can catch us on. We usually live stream it on TikTok and YouTube, and you can also find us on YouTube. So you can find the old episodes on YouTube where Christy and I and Polly just sit down and we talk once a week about politics. So my content is mostly Canadian, some American, because I do have a thing for American content, American politics. And I try to educate. That's my main goal, is just to educate people on politics and world events and debunk mis and disinformation. And that's it.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. And I think it's kind of all our goals to just get the information out there, which is fantastic to hear. I really
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that you come up. I love your work.
Oh, thank you.
Um, I catch stuff when I can, and
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Same.
you guys do fantastic work.
Yeah.
So awesome. Art, what about you? Tell us all about you.
If I had more time, I would ask Sherry how on earth she does it. I'd ask the same thing of you, Moose. How do you guys keep so on top of every, nitty gritty, you know, event and update in Canadian and American news? I literally, I mean, we don't have enough time, but I need to know the mechanics. Like, are you listening
Mm.
to podcasts in the shower, because your phone is waterproof? Like, how do you keep up? Um, like, Sherry, I honestly, I've just subscribed to BC Sherry.
Hmm.
I honestly thought this was your full-time gig.
Yeah.
And now I find out you run a company. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Uh,
I'm chronically ill, so I'm at home a lot and I can't really be out and about. So this is kind of like a social outlet for me and also like a mental outlet for me because my mind gets cluttered with a lot of stuff. And this is a really good place for me to share all that stuff. And my mind seems to be like it's my neurodiversion, right? My mind is like a steel trap when it comes to the politics stuff. And it's really something I seem to, I don't know. I don't know how I do it, quite honestly.
Me neither. Me neither.
There you
Uh,
go.
as for me,
Art,
you can
yeah.
find me struggling to understand these issues, but on Green Neighbor, on TikTok, on
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, those are the main platforms that I'm active on. You can find me just by looking up my name, Art Lightstone. I just think it's really important to have like that I present myself like, here, I'm just a regular guy. Here's my background. I'm a teacher, I'm a retired teacher. I grew up in a trailer park, that's important stuff to know. So yeah, I just share my real name and people can look me up on LinkedIn. But yeah, Art Lightstone and Green Neighbor, spelled the Canadian way, OUR on the end. And mostly I talk about climate. That's my number one bag. But I can see people aren't going to give a rat's patoot about the climate and until they can afford to buy a house, for example. Like these are the things that are front and center on people's minds. So yeah, I use my economics background to address issues like the housing crisis, and the casualization of labor. I think these are two major issues that are impacting every single Canadian, every single American too. And there you go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Art. Guys, I love Art's content. I mean, he's sitting here touting the two of us, but in all honesty, he's so full of
Yeah.
information. His production value on his videos is to die for. You do a
Mhm.
fantastic job. Guys, what you see is what you get with me. I sit here with my phone, make all my videos, do all, the stuff on my phone where Art has the setup. He's able to bring you the content and the information
Yeah.
so much better because he's got the technical know-how and the editing know-how. He's really good at to the point information in your face. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So guys, if you don't follow him yet, if you don't have him or seen his content, head on over. Um, I really appreciate both of you for coming impromptu like you did. It was a fantastic conversation, and I hope to God we can do this again sometime because I always
Absolutely.
love having conversations with the both of you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, Moose. And thank you for having me up. I really appreciate it.
I wanted to reach out to you to see if you wanted to come and have a conversation. So this worked out fantastically tonight. Thank you so much.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
Yes, everyone enjoy your night. Thanks, guys, for coming. Catch me again next Sunday. And guys, don't forget, I'm over on Beaver Politics now. You'll find me there on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. Sorry, my words are stumbling, but I'm over there now, guys. I'm gonna be doing my thing there, so come and check me out over on Beaver Politics and catch the other hosts Monday through Saturday. I'm Wednesday, but they got a whole week lined up, guys. So go check them out when I'm not there. And guys, I'll see you over there, and I'll see you here next week. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and keep fighting the good fight, everyone.
Thanks
Bye,
so much,
Art.
Moose.
Bye,
Bye. Bye,
Moose.
Sherry.
Bye,
Bye,
See you
everybody.
Moose.
guys.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
You too, guys.